Actually, like a really good question I want to ask, kind of that in that same category. What do y'all think about abortion? Are you for it or against it?
If you're not financially stable, mentally stable, and you don't have a village to raise them kids, do what you have to do. But I do not approve.
Okay, what do you think?
Um, I think that this is a personal decision. As a medical provider, I'm 100% for it.
Pro-choice.
And I
Pro-choice.
think that, when we're talking about right or wrong, I think that starts in living rooms and with communities.
Yeah.
So
Well, I will never argue what's right or wrong. What I will argue, though, is are you for guys having the ability to sign the rights away? And the states that are
yes,
that allow abortions, should guys be allowed to sign the rights away? Yes.
I don't understand what you're saying.
In the states where the women can have an abortion, because not every state right now, it's only based mostly the blue. In those states, should the guys also be allowed to sign their rights away? So that means that whenever the child's born until 18 years old, he doesn't have to be financially liable.
So you're saying if she doesn't want an abortion, can he sign his rights away?
Yeah. Like if she chooses, if she's like, screw you, I'm keeping the baby. You're a father. But in those same states where she's allowed to choose, he's also allowed to choose to sign away. Should he be able to or not?
No, because you didn't put that condom on.
I've actually never thought about that
before.
How many birth controls do women have? Do you know how many different types of birth control women have?
You don't want to get into this with me.
Yeah.
There's like 37
There's
of
a
them.
bazillion of them, but
No.
see that it's a duality of responsibility.
It is because you
100%.
laid there and you let it happen
Yeah,
without going to
100%.
take a plan B.
See, women inherently when they get into situations where they have to have a divorce because of some of the things that you had mentioned when you first asked the question, it comes down to responsibility.
Yes.
If you don't have a tribe to back you up, what'd you call it, a village?
Mhm.
Village? You shouldn't be fucking anyways.
You shouldn't
Correct.
be.
If you aren't
sex.
mentally right, you shouldn't
Correct.
be fucking anyways.
Correct.
But that's the point, right? Is I'm 100% against abortion because all life is precious.
It is.
And so if you aren't responsible enough to handle the responsibilities that come with a child,
Then don't do it.
then don't do it. Now, there are some exceptions. Obviously,
Great.
the things that I'm not going to say on this podcast that are really, really bad.
But what's a 1%? It's the 1% of them. We can always have a little sign off for those. Like it's no big deal. Sign off on those.
Because you got girls out here killing young men's children without their consent.
Yes.
It's just it's like voluntarily.
And they want to throw in the fact that it's my body, which is understandable, but you laid your body there.
There you go.
The biggest thing is it needs to be equal, okay? Like if the guy, if you can get an abortion, I should be able to sign away too, because you know what that does? We both got accountability then.
I would
because if you get
agree with
pregnant, if you got pregnant in a state where I can sign my rights away, and you can also get an abortion, you're going to think twice about either sleeping with the guy or choosing to have the baby. You're going to be like, you know what?
Okay.
I'm not going to keep this baby
I agree
because
with that,
he could
actually.
sign away right now. So, and how's it in Texas right now? It's fair. You can't get anything. I didn't have anything anyways.
I need to
so
say
in the states where the states where there's no abortions right now, it's fair now. It wasn't fair before, and y'all had the advantage. Now it's fair. And in the states where women have it and the guys can't sign away, that's unfair.
So why sleep with you shouldn't sleep with nobody that you don't feel.
Men have men are actually way more animals. Okay, like I said, 17 times more testosterone. So we can keep going back to it, and we can keep trying to shame guys for basically being like monkeys, but we're 99% chimpanzee. Like we can't take away our DNA. Like that's just we're partially animal.
So I've actually never thought about that point that you just made, and I actually agree with that point. I would also like to say that if we're going to make abortion illegal, we should make birth control free, and we should expand clinics for healthcare for women.
Correct.
And I need to say this on this podcast, please, as a registered nurse, because what you're talking about as abortion, you have no idea what you're doing. And what you're doing is you're taking away access to medications and services that some women actually need. And I will tell you firsthand, as an emergency room nurse, when that bill happened, I can count on my hand 10, 15 women that had dead babies inside of them for weeks and weeks. No.
We're not arguing for that.
But you're
has
lobbying against abortion.
Nobody has lobbied for that. Of me and him that are sitting here, I bet he would agree with me that those 1% of issues that we want them to be taken care of.
But
like obviously we don't want a woman with a dead baby or a woman that was raped having that child. Like obviously that's not okay.
I need to clarify because a lot of people don't understand is when you're going and you're making abortion illegal, you are making a cascade of medications and interventions illegal for providers to do.
Yeah, like
Do
Plan B, perfect. That needs to go
it's
too.
not Plan B. It's women that are coming in with an unviable fetus at 11 weeks, 12 weeks that are bleeding and cramping, and we can't give them misoprostol, and we can't do a DNC in the emergency room because the provider's going to get sued. We have to wait. The woman has to go and wait until her life is in jeopardy, and then we can do it.
You know whose problem this is? Not you think all the regular voters actually want that?
No,
we're
absolutely.
talking. This is the powers that be that actually write everything.
I agree.
And they make it to where it's as extreme as possible.
I agree.
So then we can be divided on this.
Agreed.
But if these 1% of abortions that need to happen because of
Agreed.
medical issues, obviously it should happen. But they're going to divide us and make us hate each other by trying to make that 1% a huge bigger deal than it really is.
But I have
It's
an
not a big deal.
obligation as a medical provider, and I'm so excited that I get to say this on this platform for people to hear, because I try to lead my life in a way that is an example, and I try to build relationships because relationships create change. And so for me, that is my job, and I really appreciate the opportunity to explain that because not a lot of people understand it, and I agree with you completely.
I think most people understand what I just said, though, and it's the powers that be that confuse the shit out of it. Like, most people understand we don't want a woman to have, like, don't get me wrong, there's some very hardcore Christians. There's some people that are like, she was great, she should keep the baby. Don't get me wrong. And there's but they're very hardcore people. They're very weird. Or like somebody that's like, oh, the baby's dead, 14 weeks in her body. Make her keep it. Like, no, like, what are you talking about? These are crazy people. Like, nobody's fighting for that
and
shit.
A lot of these people
like,
don't
and if so,
People
it's
don't
very
know
few,
that.
very weird people.
But
if so,
I'm saying there's a gap in knowledge and understanding. And
I don't think so. I
there
disagree with you
is.
on that because every time I've brought this up, everybody all agrees that I know. Like, do y'all want her to keep the baby? This 1% chance of happening. Do y'all want her to keep it? We all usually are like, no, we don't want her to keep that.
And with the situation where you
I've never heard somebody say yes to that.
And this is like a sensitive topic, not just for me,
I'm
because
not
I have
saying
a friend.
That they're saying yes. I'm saying that when you're lobbying, I'm not saying you guys. I'm saying that I can tell you from personal experience as a medical provider that the conversations I've had, one of my missions is to create conversations in education awareness, because not a lot of people understand, especially Christians or conservative that are lobbying against this. Not a lot of people understand that when you restrict abortion for that, it is a cascade effect that takes it away from everybody.
This is the ripple effect of women having no accountability or responsibility for their sexual actions 100%. So let me ask you guys can I ask them one quick question to tail off this? What are your thoughts on mandatory paternity then?
What is that?
Like paternity tests. What is your thought on that?
Since you're with it.
For it, sure.
You're good with it?
I don't have no problem.
So why aren't we allowed to do it? Why does the hospital get sued for it then?
They do?
Yeah, you're not supposed to, like, you're legally not allowed to even get the DNA of your own child without the mother's permission. So say like she did cheat on you and that child was from another guy, you can't even go figure out until later on your own like time, like,
how long do you have to
separate
wait?
from the hospital. Well, the hospital won't do it right then when the baby's born.
Court
basically.
order. Okay.
Yeah, because what happens is they get sued for it.
Pregnant.
They're gonna get sued for it. Yeah, well, but the woman has to accept that it's okay. She has to give consent for it, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm for it.
There's no reason for that.
I'm for the guys signing their rights away. I've actually never thought about that. I think that's
just
great
how to
thing.
even it. It's
I
just to
agree
even
with
the
you.
odds. It's
I
just
do.
to even the odds. That's all it is.
I do.
Everything's very unfair today. We live in a
I
very
agree.
gynocentric society where women are in power in most situations, and it just needs to be leveled out a little bit. Like there's an epidemic of people not wanting to get married, not want to be in relationships, not want to have kids, and it's because of all these fear factors that come from the gynocentric society.
Those are two things I've actually never considered.
Yeah, it's interesting though too. You're absolutely right on the fear factor thing. I mean, it's no wonder that women are stacking bodies left and right, because men do not want to commit to women anymore, because what happens? They get railed in the family courts. They lose access to their children. They lose access to their finances. They lose access to their freedoms. So the moral of the story is, there has to be some sort of semblance, right? And then on this podcast, right, Sergio, your big thing is what? You want people to straighten out and get married, right?
Yeah, I want relationships.
You want relationships to work, but and it's interesting when you really start getting into the nuts and bolts of things and how things really work between men and women.
Yeah.
They are very, very different. And we discovered that today.
Work.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of these people don't even believe in marriage no more.
No.
Yeah. And I'll be honest and say that even marriage is a very far reach. Like I don't necessarily sit here and tell people to get married on my channel. And the reason why is because it's dangerous. What I do push is for us to get into politics, for us to go change those damn laws so we can make it easier for us to get married. So it gives me more incentive to want to do it. Because right now I'm deeply incentivized to not get married. Give me some incentive. We want to see, like, I'm pretty sure this is going to sound horrible, but I'm pretty sure Hitler gave incentives to people for getting married at one point, and their economy blew up. This was like before World War II. But there's like, we got to give incentives to people to build families and to like have, have kids and stuff. Like, there's no incentive for any of it right now. And that's why the world is falling apart.
And the really scary thing about this whole situation when it comes to laws and the way things are, I'm going to coin Glenn Lawrence. Me and him and I did some studying on this topic right here. All of the laws that are in place now, men were in control. So it's actually, once again, the men's fault.
Exactly.
Coin on Glenn Lawrence there.
Hey y'all, Sergio here. I just want to mention I've created a completely free guide that shows you exactly how I went from having low confidence and being painfully awkward around women to easily meeting and dating numerous high quality desirable women in real life without the use of any dating apps or social media. So if you're struggling to get out there, if you have approach anxiety or don't know what to say or how to interact with women to make them want you and are sick of using dating apps with low value girls that hundreds of other guys have been chatting with, click the link in the description below to grab your free guide right now. And if you want private mentorship with me personally to help guide you every step of the way in this process, check out my mentorship program in the description too. I would be happy to help you reach your dating goals and overcome any obstacle you may face. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. I hope to see you soon. Peace out.